I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it!
All right, folks. A former MrBeast employee published a bombshell tweet yesterday on Twitter that exponentially worsens everything we have discussed thus far. Now, there's really simply too much to go over for a quick summary if you're not up to date on the entire MrBeast scenario. I usually make an effort to provide some context for these videos, but let's be honest, there has been non-stop debate for the past 6 or 7 weeks, if not longer. Going forward, however, I will be operating under the presumption that you are aware of the allegations that MrBeast and his team are dealing with, as well as the general context of the situation, because even though the scenario we're about to discuss today sounds awful enough on its own, the whole tale makes it considerably worse, to the point that I almost didn't think this was possible when I first heard it. However, we must first discuss the reason behind the tweet's original creation before we can discuss this one. I'm sure many of you guys still recall the YouTuber dogpack 404. He is among the men that initially caused such a stir with the MrBeast scenario. In the video he released, he accused MrBeast of a host of other bad things, including fabricating recordings, abusing his audience, and holding illicit lotteries. He also returned 2 days ago with a new video titled, I Work For MrBeast. He is a sociopath. Now he speaks with Jake Weddle, a former employee of MrBeast, in this video, and he has a lot to say regarding the operations of the MrBeast YouTube channel. We're going to focus on a very brief section of this video right now, just a few minutes. However, I would advise you to watch the entire movie since it's fairly eye-opening and validates a lot of what many people have been thinking for a while. I believe that one of the most significant topics they discuss is the fact that Jake was supposed to appear in a film in which he attempted and failed miserably to spend 100 days in solitary confinement. It was a horrific circumstance that MrBeast repeatedly recreated, and he was essentially tortured. I've produced a few films this year discussing the recordings in which he places people in solitary confinement, and I discussed how strange and unethical I found those to be, and nothing at all about what Jake discusses. As I mentioned before, I would only really focus on one topic that Jake discusses. As I mentioned, I strongly advise watching the video. These first-hand reports from individuals who regularly contact with MrBeast are rather powerful, which the segment we're seeing today should give you a sense of. We're going to look at the final 5 minutes or so of the interview, where dogpack 404 asks Jake Weddle if he has ever heard of any other instances of sexual misbehavior at the organization besides Ava, Kris Tyson, and what we're about to see is his response to that. I'm going to let the video play through to the end now because I think it would be sort of useless to discuss this video without also showing you the tweet that went along with it. Because of the tweet that we will be examining, this clip goes from someone saying something that appears to be really horrible, but who knows the true context, to something that could actually have the potential to ruin the MrBeast channel, which is something that I honestly didn't think was possible. This is the about 2-minute long clip.
Outside of it, Kris Tyson, did you ever hear about any sexual misconduct at the company?
I've heard rumors. I can't confirm or deny anything. I don't have any tangible evidence, but I've heard stuff that if it could be investigated, that'd be great. But it's like water cooler talk. But I've heard things, yes, of course. I heard, people have been let go for sexually assaulting some very young people. The idea that Jimmy didn't know, or that Jimmy was covering stuff up. He didn't want stuff to come out. He's very careful about his image. The tangible proof that he knew but covered it up. How do you prove that, Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender on the registry and everything, who worked there. And you can, someone pees in public, you're on the registry, you get it. You can still have a job after you're on that's one thing. You go to prison, you get rehabilitated, that's one thing. If you do your time, that's fine. I think there should be rehabilitation in this country. But that guy, from what I hear, I can't confirm or deny, from what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people. And they knew that. And he's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people. And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there, but he was like the manager when it all started. And you know that he knew, and because he'll be in videos, he'll be in thumbnails, he'll be around, and whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face could be looked up on a thing? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender with a physical mask? Like, do I have to, is it more on the nose? Or, I don't know why they let him go, because there's rumors back and forth, you know, so I don't know why they let him go, but he did leave at one point.
All right, I vowed not to make any more videos of MrBeast because of this. Because holy fucking shit, this is crazy. Based only on this clip, this appears to be really bad. Your friend works for a YouTube channel where kids are featured in many of the videos in addition to being the target audience. An RSO on the registry for a crime involving a person between the ages of 111, not some victimless crime like the one this guy cited, like urinating in public or anything. There aren't really that many logical inferences you can draw when you combine it with the fact that he is wearing a mask in the video they were displaying when nobody else is. It didn't take long for people to discover this man's true name and verify that he is, in fact, on the register for a crime involving a victim who was between the ages of 1 and 11 after the video went viral. Twitter is rife with screenshots of his registration information. That won't be seen because YouTube won't like it. However, almost all of this man's claims have been verified as accurate, not just by random users on Twitter, but also by a tweet from the brother-in-law of the RSO. Another former employee of MrBeast is Jake the Viking. This is how it seems. This is the real deal. Indeed, I am the brother-in-law of Delaware. The RSO goes by Delaware, but I didn't mention this in the video. Indeed, he works as an RSO. A 16-year-old girl accused him and others of assaulting her when she was 11 years old while he was 21. Delaware had to register even though he had accepted a plea agreement that spared him from jail time. Because he is unable to return to Delaware, his nickname is not Delaware. His home state is Delaware. Jake Weddle mentioned that he had heard reports that the guy's nickname was Delaware because he was not permitted to return to Delaware. This is another portion of the video that I did not include. I have never heard something so stupid as that. He has returned multiple times. He was employed before me, and it was because of him that I was employed at MrBeast. Delaware took Jimmy and his mother Sue aside before he was recruited and thoroughly explained everything to them. Thus, Jimmy was aware. However, this occurrence did occur in 2010. Delaware started working there in 2017-18. Delaware was fired from the company earlier than I was. Delaware was meant to be the manager behind the scenes, but we needed personnel, so he was asked to participate in a few films. Because of his charges, he was hesitant to wear the straitjacket in particular, which is why he donned the mask. This autumn, Delaware's accusations are expected to be dropped. Delaware has been the best father I could wish for my 2 nieces, a wonderful man, and my sister's spouse. They simply want to spend their lives out of the spotlight and won't participate in this. I don't blame anyone for being angry or frustrated about these accusations. I can certainly understand why. Any kind of child abuse is totally wrong. However, I am convinced that Delaware did nothing wrong, and I eagerly await the day when these accusations are withdrawn. I'm grateful. All right, this requires a great deal of unpacking. First and foremost, and this is maybe the most significant outcome of all, MrBeast is unable to claim ignorance of the situation. Even the man's mother apparently knew. Given that people can change, this is a complicated and delicate scenario. Indeed. And MrBeast is an individual. If he wanted to give a man a chance to change his life, and he managed a different kind of business that did not directly deal with children. You are you, beastly mister. I'm not your father. Do I agree with it? Specifically, no, I don't. However, you are you. But when you have a YouTube channel that connects with your field of employment, you don't do you, and you don't do this. Later, after which you dismiss them. Well, that's one thing. However, after realizing this and making a decision, you fire him. Well, that's one thing. However, you have to be fucking crazy to hire him in spite of knowing this. Now, I'm going to conjecture, but I'm not trying to. Of course, there is no way to prove anything I'm saying here. However, as you begin to piece these parts together and consider the situation in the perspective of all we know, you can't help but wonder, what the fuck is going on with these people? The Kris Tyson crap is all over you. We've already discussed how strange it was that these guys were filming in a house with those posters visible while no one else said anything. We already had the extremely strange and inappropriate Discord chats, and now this. Things cease to be coincidences at a certain point, and you have to ask yourself how someone with this kind of concentration can rise to such high positions in the MrBeast Corporation. Now, this might just be an instance of survivor prejudice. Since MrBeast interacts with so many people, it seems improbable that there won't be any rotten apples. If there wasn't what seems to be proof that MrBeast was aware of all of this when these individuals were employed by him, that's what I would say. Let's face it, it's one thing to hire someone and then discover they're not the best fit. Using them in that way is a different matter. Let me be clear, I am not attempting to speak for the MrBeast company or its morality. However, if I was working on a project and someone said to me, "Hey, this new guy," yeah, that would be an example. Because of what he did to an 11-year-old, he is included on the registry. We have to conceal his face and refrain from using his true identity. Oh, okay, I would have said, "Fuck yourself, please." I refuse to take part in that. You actually have to start asking yourself what kind of work atmosphere these sets, where everyone was like, "Okay, had. All right, that's all right. We can keep this guy's identity a secret since we would be in serious trouble if anyone discovered who he actually is. Like, what on earth is happening?" And see, this man can brag about being a fantastic friend, spouse, and person in general. I won't sit here and accuse him of lying. This is about MrBeast determining that this man is a good fit despite not understanding the circumstances or his field of work. It is not acceptable. This goes beyond creating fake movies or engaging in unethical giveaways. This is some seriously cunning stuff. If MrBeast had simply hired the man and kept him in the background, that would be one thing. Even if it's still terrible, it's unquestionably preferable to using him in videos where you conceal his identity and give him a false name since you knew it was wrong. For the MrBeast team, it seems like the hole is growing exponentially bigger, which makes me want to invest all of my money in shovels. Okay, gentlemen, what are your thoughts? Are we overreacting as I am? Was this simply the MrBeast attempting to do a good deed? Since it's unbelievable to me that's the situation, that's not something I'll believe. I can't help but think that this is just another coincidence because there are just too many similar stories emerging concerning the people who work for this company. Who knows how many people had to cooperate in order to attempt to hide this, which makes it look so bad for all of them. Who knows what additional circumstances similar to this one may have slipped through the cracks. Since so much information regarding this company and MrBeast has surfaced, I must admit that I'm a little concerned about the course of events over the next few weeks. Is this the end of it? Is this the worst situation ever? I don't think so. If you like this video, kindly hit the subscribe.